Motorist commuters groan as petrol sells for 720 naira per litre in Abuja. President Tinubu to meet organized labor over minimum wage on Thursday.
I take exception to that. Don't interrupt, honorable member. Don't interrupt. Don't interrupt, honorable member.
Minister, lawmakers in shouting match over 45 million naira query. And on the foreign scene, 8 missing after boat sinks in Maima Commercial Hub. Hello, welcome to News Update on Trust TV. I am Lilian Ogazi. The Federal Capital Territory and some states of the Federation are again experiencing fuel scarcity. This has resulted in long queues at fueling stations within the metropolis, with motorists buying PMS above the official price. Chamunda Bang reports.
Residents of the Federal Capital Territory continue to groan as another round of fuel scarcity resurfaced. The situation, which began on Friday, has also affected some states within the North Central. The incessant scarcity of PMS and the price hike that comes with it has taken a toll on the purchasing power of the average Nigerian. Several independent fueling stations across the city have been forced to close their gates, resulting in an immediate hike in the cost of fuel, as some stations now sell petrol as high as 720 naira per litre, as against the original 617 naira per litre.
And this fuel scarcity of a thing has really affected me, because at the time I left my house to work, the hours I've spent here, so those hours would have fetched me good money, but here I'm sleeping. I've even slept and woke up.
In fact, it has been terrible. I've been here since morning. I'm supposed to be in the office now. I've been here since 10 o'clock. I can check the time now. This is like almost 3 o'clock. So it's not really nice at all. And to worsen it all, it's just one fuel pump that's selling in the filling station now.
Coming from Katampe down to this Otako, from inside to Junction, even Okada would like to collect 400 naira, 300 per this thing, machine. Then getting to Junction, you enter 500 to here. Through and flow, you spend like 2,000 in a day.
Even when I'm working safe, I'm coming from a very long distance. We have to trek some miles to cover up with, you understand, to cover just the money, you understand. So it's been a bad stuff for us.
National Deputy President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Zarma Mustafa, says the scarcity is as a result of disruptions in the supply chain.
There are some logistical and distribution hitches that brought about some drop in the arrival of petroleum product from the coastal depots to Abuja and other parts of the country. But with this development, I like to assure our citizens that this is just a temporary thing. Well, you know, our Nigerian roads today during rainy season is a hell. The roads are mostly bad, and it really hinders on efficiency in terms of deliverance of the product. Sometimes it takes a truck to 10 days to 15 days to come. While in dry season, a truck can load within 3 days and deliver to any part of the country.
Nigerians are calling on the relevant authorities to address the regular scarcity of premium motor spirits and to put an end to the multiplier effects, such as high cost of transportation, food items, amongst others. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
President Bola Tinubu will meet with the organized labor in Abuja on Thursday for further discussions on a new minimum wage for workers in Nigeria. A top labor source said the president invited the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress to the meeting expected to be held at the Aso Villa in the nation's capital city. The president is expected to make a decision on the 62,000 naira proposal of the federal government and private sector side, as well as the 250,000 naira demands of the organized labor. The Thursday meeting is coming about a month after the president said in his Democracy Day speech on June 12 that an executive bill of the new national minimum wage for workers would soon be sent to the National Assembly for passage. On June 25th, the Federal Executive Council, chaired by the President, stepped down from consideration and deliberation the memo on the new minimum wage to allow for more engagement with stakeholders. 2 days later, Tinubu and Vice President Shettima at the 141st meeting of the National Economic Council met with governors of the 36 states of the Federation and ministers to deliberate on new minimum wage for workers. The House of Representatives Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development on Tuesday grilled the Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy-Ohaneye, over the non-payment of 1.5 billion naira to contractors despite fund release. The committee was investigating alleged diversion of funds meant for payment to contractors following a petition from the contractors. The report.
Chairperson of the committee, Kafila Togbara, clarified that the hearing is aimed to uncover the truth and not a witch hunt. The committee sought answers from the minister on unrelated expenditures, including 45 million naira for a New Year party, 20 million naira for sanitary parts, and 1.5 million naira for vehicle fuel. They also sought clarification on funds appropriated for the African First Ladies Mission and the whereabouts of 1.5 billion naira meant for contractor payments.
As we discharge our duties, let us remain committed to upholding these constitutional and legal imperatives, ensuring that our actions and decisions align with the highest standards of the law.
I think one woman was even said in that clip that he borrowed 5 million for the bank and he supplied items to the Minister of Women's Affairs, but he delivered, they signed the documents, our money has not been paid. And she's still paying interest on that money.
I wanted to push for us to go back to what it used to be. But I think the argument from Ministry of Finance that they're better off when they take full charge of payments to contractors.
While the minister denied allegations of misappropriation, overspending, and non-payment to contractors, the procurement officer confirmed contractors' claims, with the DFA maintaining that only approved contracts were paid.
Appropriated for 2023 from the Accountant General's office. Was it released to the account of the Ministry of Women Affairs? Yes or no?
You have deviated because you did say, yes, there was release of money and you take instruction from principal. And there and then, I confronted permanent secretary. He said he was not in the known. And I still making my statement that you are running the business, you are running the ministry with your minister.
On the issue of the contract, even the ones given while I was there, they have not been paid. Yes, they have not been paid.
Recall that the committee at its last meeting summoned the minister to appear before them to explain the rationale behind the non-payment. The committee also ordered the stoppage of all 2024 contract processes by the Ministry of Women Affairs until the whereabouts of the money for the said contract are determined.
Nigeria and Brazil have agreed to jointly harness opportunities in climate action and green industrial fairs. The resolution were reached on Tuesday as Nigeria's special presidential envoy on climate action, Nigerian Galale, met with the Brazilian head of embassy, João Soares, in his office at State House in Abuja. Both countries agreed to stand as critically important allies in the global south as the most populous nations, Africa and South America. The special presidential envoy also hosted the global CEO of a multinational corporation that plans to construct a full end-to-end cooking stove manufacturing facility in Ogun State. The new facility is an upgrade to the corporation's assembly-only plant in Kano State. This is in line with government's resolve to support companies with clean finance incentives to empower Nigerians to create sustainable solutions for tomorrow. The Managing Director of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Olubunmi Kuku, has stated that only 3 out of 22 airports under its management are profitable and contribute largely to the growth of the aviation sector. Kuku said that 19 of the nation's airports under FAAN were being subsidized as they do not get passenger traffic commensurate to their operational costs. She further said the majority of the 22 airports managed by FAAN require maintenance and upgrade in critical infrastructure like the terminal areas, the landslide as well as the airside. The FAAN MD mentioned that the authority plans to provide cross-substitutes to certain new airports under development. According to her, FAAN allocates 50% of its revenue to the federal government, posing a significant challenge. She added that the authority was engaging in discussions with different branches of government to explore potential relief measures. Troops of the 6th Brigade Nigerian Army in Sector 3 Operation Wellstroke in Taraba State have arrested 3 suspected kidnappers and rescued 2 female victims. The Acting Director, Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Oniolobunde, said the Army, in collaboration with other security agencies, raided suspected kidnappers' hideouts at Adamu Katibu Mountain in Lao local government area of the state on Monday. The arrested kidnappers, according to Olobunde, were said to be members of a notorious gang operating in the area. The suspects arrested are 20-year-old Haruna Abuba Hassan Kakale and Husseini Kakale. The rescued victims, according to Lieutenant Oni, are Hawau Alaji Umaru and Asmao Alaji Umaru, who were abducted on July 7, 2024. The rescued victims were taken to headquarters 6th Brigade in Jalingo for psychological and medical support and thereafter handed over to their families. Now moving on, the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress APC, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, his wife Hafsat and 6 others are expected to appear before a Kano State High Court on Thursday on charges bordering on alleged bribery as well as diversion and misappropriation of funds running into billions of naira. NNPP-led Kano State government instituted the suits before Justice Amina Adamu Aliyu. The court had on June 5th granted leave to the applicants to serve the respondents through substituted means, which was effected on June 6, 2024, through advertorials in 2 national newspapers, namely Daily Trust and The Nation. At the last adjourned date, only Nurani Jimo San represented the 6 respondents in court as counsel, while other respondents, including Ganduje, were not represented. The presiding judge, Justice Adamu, fixed July 11th for hearing on the matter. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has threatened sanctions against electricity distribution companies or DISCOs if they fail to take up at least 95% of the total monthly energy allocated for distribution. In the Commission's Order of Performance Monitoring Framework for all the DISCOs, the market operator rolled out tough sanctions against utility firms that commit infractions capable of inflicting pain on electricity consumers. Among other things, NERC said it would reduce 5% of the administrative and operational expenditure of any DISCO that failed to take at least 95% of the total energy allocated to it for monthly distribution. The order stipulated that failure to take up to 95% of available nominations in any month will attract issuance of rectification directive, such as a downward adjustment of DISCOs, guaranteed admin OPEX by 5% for the next quarter. The NERC said DISCOs would now be assessed on 7 key performance indicators, namely energy takeoff relative to partial contracted capital, revenue recovery rate, and compliance with reporting of a uniform system of accounts. Others are compliance with API feeder streaming, compliance with the order on capping of estimated bills, compliance with implementation of forum decision, and compliance with service standards for resolution of complaints received through the NERC Contact Center and the NERC headquarters. This is News Update coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up, Unilag SANU NASU members join nationwide protests, threaten indefinite strike. More news when we return. Do stay. You are welcome back. If you just joined us, this is News Update coming to you from Trust TV. Let us take a look at our headline stories again. Motorist commuters groan as petrol sells for 720 naira per litre. President Tinubu to meet organized labor over minimum wage on Thursday. Now moving on, residents of Ologboboro community in southern Ijaw local government area of Bayelsa State have cried out over a massive crude oil spill from a facility operated by the Nigerian Oil Company in the area. The leak, according to a aggrieved community, occurred about 2 months ago following a rupture they blamed on equipment failure along Ogbonibiri Tebi Dada pipeline. Leaders of the community Azeki Akpowari, Ebimobowe Ikpesiriware, and Assistant Secretary General Amos Owefige, in a letter to the Bayelsa State government, called for urgent intervention to stop the spill. They lamented that due to the spill, collateral damage has been done to farms, economic trees, ponds, and lakes, which are the mainstay of the people of Biene Nobu Forest. Moving on now, members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian University and Non-Academic Staff Union, Educational and Associated Institutions on Tuesday organized a protest across public university campuses in the country. The protest, according to the union, is part of efforts to get their delayed salaries released. The report.
During the protest, the non-academic staff carried placards with multiple inscriptions demanding that the federal government immediately effect the payment of the 4-month withheld salaries of their members, non-discrimination between academic and non-teaching staff of universities, among others, as they marched from the Senate building to the university's entrance gate. The protest on Tuesday came after the federal government was given a 2-week ultimatum in June by SANU and NASU. While addressing the press, the acting chairman SANU Unilag chapter Benga Adenoyo recalled that the union had earlier observed a 7-day warning strike because of the non-payment of the withheld salaries.
In 2023, in the budget, there was a 50 billion naira that was supposed to be released to universities. It has not been released. Likewise, the issue of areas of increase in salaries is already in the budget of 2023, but till now, those money have not been released to universities. So we are appealing to the government that they should come to our aid. We are workers and we are working very well diligently on daily basis for our daily bread, but they are denying us of our daily bread. Our prayer is that they should listen to us and they should do the needful at the right time.
To the president, we want our withheld salary and it must be paid without any further delay. That is our demand. That is our demand. You can imagine, 2009 agreement is still there. The agreement is already due for renegotiation, and nothing has been done. Nothing has been done till date. We say no to divide and rule again.
Meanwhile, the National Vice President SANU, Salam Abdul Suba, who had just returned from the National Industrial Court to join the protest, said the court verdict was in favor of the union and called on members to join the national protest slated for next week.
We shall all converge at Abuja and we shall undertake a massive protest rally. After that rally, if our issues have not been addressed, we shall embark on a strike. That strike shall demand your courage because they will test you. They will intimidate you. They may deny you your salaries again. But when reality is that we are not less Nigerians than those people in the National Assembly. We are not less Nigerian than those people in the Senate. We are not less Nigerian than those people who hold political appointments. We should not be denied of our rights. We are citizens of Nigeria. And as far as we are concerned, we have not jabbed. We remain in this country, and as our youth say, we die here.
The union expressed hope that the federal government would listen to their plea and do the needful at the right time to avoid a full-scale strike.
Moving on, the House of Representatives on Tuesday commenced the consideration of the 1.911 trillion naira 2024 budget of the Nigerian Delta Development Commission (NDDC). Speaking at the commencement of the Budget Defense, Managing Director of NDDC Samuel Obuku said the Commission plans to source the money for the budget by borrowing 1 trillion naira from commercial and development banks in the country. Chairman of the House Committee, Eriatake Iboriswenu, said the budget was crucial to the success of the commission, stressing that the House will carry out a diligent consideration of the presentation by scrutinizing every detail.
As we analyze this proposal, our optimal goal is to ensure that they are realistic, achievable, and most importantly, in the best interest of the region. The Operation Light Up the Niger Delta has benefited so many communities across the Niger Delta region. However, there's also room for more improvement.
In preparing the 2024 budget, our primary objective has been to sustain our robust foundation for sustainable economic development. A critical focus of this budget is the present management's commitment to a greener future. An aggregate expenditure of 1.911 trillion is proposed for the Niger Delta Development Commission in 2024, themed the budget of renewed hope.
In budgeting, there are parameters that we're supposed to have and execute. The first is to assess the performance of the previous years.
I don't know whether you have submitted the repayment plan to the committee before now, because if it is like a grant, there won't be need for that. But since it is money that will be paid back in the future, so I think we would like to see how it will be paid back as time goes on.
On the foreign scene now, 8 people were missing after a boat sunk on a river in Myanmar's commercial hub Yangon, the local fire department said on Wednesday. The boat sank after an accident at around 8:10 a.m. local time in the Yangon River. It said it on its Facebook page. It did not give details on what had occurred or whether any other vessels were involved. Local media reported that the boat collided with another vessel. 9 of 17 people on board had been rescued and search and rescue operations were underway for the remaining 8 people, the fire department said. Boat accidents are common in Myanmar, a poor country with rudimentary transport and weakly enforced safety regulations. Vessels ferrying along people, the coastline and rivers are often dangerously overcrowded, and accidents can have staggering death tolls. Families of Boeing crash victims continue to call out the company's behavior after it agreed to a plea deal with the U.S. aerospace giant, as apparently made the calculation that admitting to a crime is better than enduring a long public trial. The deal with U.S. prosecutors only relates to Boeing's culpability in relation to 2018 and 2019 crashes. In the deal, Boeing will pay another fine, bringing to the total of $487.2 million, which the Justice Department says is the legal maximum for the fraud charge. The deal also requires the company to invest at least $455 million to improve safety. It will be on court-supervised probation for 3 years, and the Justice Department will name an independent monitor to oversee Boeing's compliance with terms of the plea of agreement.
If it wasn't Boeing, if it was a human being that had committed a fraud that had led to the deaths of 346 people, would we be having this discussion? No, of course not.
And now to sports. Rangers International FC of Enugu has received their prize money of 150 million naira for emerging champions of the 2023-2024 NPFL season. Head of Media Publicity Andrew Ekejuba, who broke the Cherry News in Lagos, revealed that the winners of the 2024 President's Federation Cup for Men, El Kanemi Warriors FC, also received their prize money of 50 million, while the runners-up Abia Warriors FC got 20 million. He further stated that the women's category of PFC winners, Rivers Angels FC, received 25 million, while runners-up Nigeria Tels FC of Abuja got a sum of 10 million naira. Prize money of 1 million was given to each of the awardees in the men's and women's categories, which include highest goal scorer, most valuable player, and best goalkeeper, respectively. The Ministry of Sport has confirmed that 87 athletes will represent Team Nigeria in 12 sports at the upcoming 2024 Paris Olympics. A statement from the ministry confirmed the breakdown of the athletes to include 35 athletes in athletics, 18 for women's football, 12 for women's basketball, 6 for wrestling, and 4 for table tennis. Others are boxing 3 athletes, canoeing 2 athletes, weightlifting 2 athletes, aquatics 2 athletes, and cycling 1 athlete. Additionally, Nigeria will participate in 4 sports in the Paralympic Games. The country has a strong history of success at the Paralympic Games, having won 40 gold, 19 silver, and 21 bronze medals, totaling 80 medals to date. With that, we've come to the end of news updates here on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all our social media platforms for more news programs and documentaries. Thanks for watching. I am Lilian Ogazi.